uncharacteristic for Amari Cooper too. So the interesting trade. I wonder how good this draft pick's going to be with the Cowboys. You figure the Cowboys are going to finish between 7, 8, or 9 wins. It'll probably be middle of the round pick, but it's definitely great for Amari Cooper because he was doing nothing in Oakland there, and I don't think he was getting a ton of targets. I think that Gruden just wants to kind of get rid of everybody. So this might be a great opportunity for him and Dak to get some camaraderie there. Their receivers are pretty slow or small. Hearns is a big target, but he's not that fast. So I think this is definitely going to help out the Cowboys and probably help some Amari Cooper owners as well.
I agree. Change of scenery will probably do him good as well.
Oh, totally. Let's get into the key injuries, Dave.
Okay, great. Just quite.
Go ahead first.
You want me to go?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Great. Quite a few injuries this week, actually. One of the biggest ones was Sony Michel for the Patriots. I have him in several leagues. He had a horrific knee injury. That they did do an MRI today. He's not expected to be out very long, though. It's going to be week to week. So there's actually good news on that front. I was breathing a sigh of relief today because I have him in a few of my leagues. And then Kawhi Alexander, a few defensive players. Torn ACL. He'll be out the rest of the year. Our Badger alum, Jack Sitchy, has a knee injury. Then we had a few cornerbacks too. Fabian Morrell for the Washington Redskins. He left with a left ankle injury. And then Tyler Patman for the Jacksonville Jaguars, suffered a neck strain. So if you have any IDP guys, those guys are not going to be available the next couple weeks. And then Alexander will be out for the rest of the year. A couple running backs, LaShawn McCoy with the concussion left, is questionable for this coming week. Chris Ivory actually for the Buffalo Bills as well, left leg injury. He did return, but he may be questionable for this week. Melvin Gordon with the hamstring injury. They do have a bye this week, so he should be healthy when he returns from the bye. Albert Wilson for the Dolphins and Kenny Stills, both of those receivers went down. Wilson with a hip injury, is going to be probably placed on IR. Kenny Stills with the groin injury. He's week to week right now, but he should be out probably several weeks. And then Marshawn Lynch, who was a surprise this week, he's going to be placed on the IR today, they were saying, with a core muscle injury. Then just a few other injuries too. Like I said, there's quite a few this week. Kiki Kotue, from the Texans, left with a hamstring injury. Jeff Swaim from the Cowboys left with a knee injury. And then we have Byron Powell left with a neck injury. So Crowell could see the uptick in carries the next couple weeks. And the last one I got here is Derek Anderson from the Bills. He went through the locker room and told reporters he got a little banged up in the game, but they don't know if he's going to be able to play or not for next Monday night against New England, which means we get Nate Peterman Pan again for the Bills. So whoever's playing the Bills, actually the Patriots, you definitely want to start the Patriots defense with Peter Pan throwing passes because he likes to throw the interceptions quite a bit. So definitely Patriots defense is going to be a hot pickup this week.
Nice, man. No, very well covered. Did you mention Matt Breida? I didn't.
I did not. Matt, that was one of the ones I did miss.
He hurt his ankle, and he's probably day-to-day, but he left the game. Not that the 49ers could use him, obviously, down by 20 points the whole game, but that definitely was one. But no, you seem to nail them all. Albert Wilson's hip, I thought that wasn't as bad as it was supposed to be. And then I heard today that it was like literally out of joint, and he'll be at least out 4 weeks, right? He's in some.
Yeah, they're saying IR for him actually.
Even IR, geez, yeah, he's done. Holy cow! And that's bad for the Dolphins, especially with all their Devontae Parker problems and Kenny Stills with his groin injury. So very interesting there. Wanted to quick discuss a trade that me and you made in my league. and well, it's kind of beneficial for both because I'm loaded at running backs. I got Kareem Hunt, I got Miller, Yeldon, a couple other guys, and
Crowell. Actually, he's going to be
in Crowell
now too
with Bilal Powell out. Yeah, right. And I don't know how long Powell's going to be out for, but either way, I needed a tight end because I had Tyler Eifert out for the season and Austin Seferian-Jenkins. So lost my tight ends, and I'm sitting here with Azuma and Ben and Watson, which is not completely reliable. But you needed a running back. I needed Eric Ebron, third in targets, third in fantasy points for tight ends. So we did that trade, and I gave you Ben Watson on the consolation. You gave me Nyheim Hines, right? So this is just a good example of why trading at this point this season can really help you out. If you need somebody and you don't use somebody like Chubb, I probably wasn't going to use them. Maybe a week or two as a fill-in, but I have a lot of other options. I think from a net point perspective, both of us are going to gain on that trade. So just wanted to throw out an example of what you try to look for when you're throwing out some trades this week. Let's get into the waiver wire, my man. I'll go first with this one. Trent Cannon is a possible pickup for Bilal Powell. And if Powell's out for some time, he's going to get some of that receiving PPR type role. Raheem Mostert for Matt Breida, he's better than Morris in Shanahan's eyes. As a matter of fact, a couple weeks ago against the Packers, it was Mostert that got the all the touches, and Morris, I think he might have got one, if that. Devontae Parker, questionable pickup if somebody dropped him from all the Dolphins injuries, but then you might want to look at Damian Amendola. Amendola is only owned in 10% of leagues. He's going to get a lot more touches now that that Wilson and Stills are out. Michael Gallup, he's doing pretty well, and I had him down before the Amari Cooper trade, so I don't know if this is going to hurt Michael Gallup's receiving stats for Dallas or not, but he had a good week last week. And Tyrell Williams is available in a lot of leagues. He crushed it last week. Not a ton of targets, but he's always very efficient getting that deep ball. So if you need a flyer, Tyrell Williams is one I recommend. What do you have for the waiver wire, Dave?
Quan Smith, actually. They do like him a lot. Rookie for the New Orleans Saints. He's explosive, big guy. He's never going to see double coverage as long as Michael Thomas is healthy. So the Saints have been using him more lately. He had 5 to 6 targets in this past game, and he did blow up in week 5 as well with a couple touchdowns and over 100 yards. So definitely like him as a pickup this week. Going forward, he's going to see more time too with Ted Ginn injured. So they don't know how long Ted Ginn's going to be out. So definitely pick him up if he's out there still on your waiver wire. Another guy, Kenjon Barner for the Patriots. He took over for Sony Michel when he went down. He's going to start this week. James White will play a bunch as well. James White's still out there too. For some reason, I doubt he is, but if he's still out there too, definitely James White before Kenjon Barner. But Kenjon Barner is going to be doing the early down work, and James White's going to be the PPR guy. Guy I do like, that guy I have in my lifetime keeper league with Kiev, Chris Herndon. Tight end for the Jets. He scored touchdowns the last 2 weeks now. Second week in a row he scored, and he had 7 targets in the Jets' blowout loss to the Vikings. And he's definitely be playing more down the road. And then he's actually one of Sam Darnold's one of his favorite targets right now. I had Michael Gallup. Actually, another guy I had though as well is Tajay Sharp. Tajay Sharp was a preseason favorite a couple years ago. Gallup was a preseason favorite this year, but Tajay Sharp has been breaking out lately with the Titans, so he's definitely a guy I like going forward as a receiver for the Titans. With Corey Davis struggling, they've been going to him a lot more, so he's a guy I do like right now as a pickup. Marlon Mack had a huge game this past week. He had 159 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns. He's only owned in 54% of leagues, so if for some reason he's still out there, which I doubt he is in a lot of leagues, but if he is, definitely snap him up. For free agent dollars, if you have to spend a little bit on him, I definitely would do that. He's going to be a guy going forward. Michael Roberts would be the next guy I wanted to talk about. Recently, Rob Gronkowski didn't play this past week for the Patriots. That's one of the injuries we forgot to cover. But Rob Gronkowski was the late scratch this past week with a lower back injury, so he's questionable going forward as well. So another tight end that you might want to look at picking up, one of the under-the-radar kind of guys, is Michael Roberts, a tight end for the Detroit Lions. Only owned in 1% of leagues right now. He bombed the Miami Dolphins for a 3-catch, 48-yard receiving yard day with 2 touchdowns as well. So he's definitely a guy going forward. He's going to be the guy in Detroit that they're going to be looking at with Ebron leaving this year. Roberts is the guy going forward there, so that he's definitely a guy you want to take a look at picking up if you're in need of a tight end. With Gronk out, he definitely is a guy you might want to be taking a look at. Another guy you might want to take a flyer on if you need a quarterback going forward, Cody Kessler. He did relieve Blake Bortles this past week. Blake Bortles was benched in the second half. So he did come in and throw a touchdown. And his numbers looked pretty good actually in the second half, taking over for Bortles. Another guy, you could take a flyer on as well. I wouldn't recommend starting would be Nathan Peterman. He's going to be starting this week as well with Derek Anderson out. So these are some lower end quarterbacks if you're in desperate need. I wouldn't recommend starting either one of these guys. Bortles is supposed to start again this week, but definitely guys, Kessler is definitely a guy you want to keep an eye on, if Bortles does struggle for the second week in a row.
Yeah. The last Kessler, wow. It's, that's a reach. You'd have to be really interesting league to do something like that.
Yeah, probably like a 12 or 14 team league is the only one you want to take a reach. Or if you have a 2 quarterback league and you're looking for quarterbacks, that's the only one I'd recommend. The last guy I had here was Robbie Anderson. He's a guy a lot of people have forgotten about as well. He's had one big week so far, 3 catch, 123-yard receiving, 2 touchdown week in week 5. But in weeks 5 and 6, he followed that up with 10 looks from Sam Darnold this past week, 10 targets this past week. So he's definitely getting a high amount of targets. So I see another big game coming from him soon, because Donald is throwing to him and they're targeting him. So he could have a big week going forward. And then the defensive pickup of the week is the New England Patriots. They are playing the Buffalo Bills Monday Night Football. And the Bills are going to be starting Nathan Peter Pan, and he just likes to throw interceptions, 5 interceptions in a game last year. So, definitely start the New England Patriots if you have them already, or pick them up if you don't.
Yeah, Patriots D, if not just for that, their special teams, what they did to the Bears last week, it's probably got some people, unfortunately, a few points for me. But yeah, they're very well coached, obviously. All right, let's get into breakout players, then, my man. So I'm going to throw this name out there, and it's not, and I know we're not supposed to mention for sure starters. Stefon Diggs hasn't been, ripping it up too much, but I just want to mention one thing. He's going to be playing against Marshawn Lattimore in the Saints. And from what I've seen from Marshawn Lattimore, it's been absolute crap this year. I watched that Ravens game at the end. It's like Lattimore just let Brown do whatever he wanted to him and just gave up the touchdown. Didn't even run with him. Let the safety try to take him. The safety was way in the middle of the field. I don't even think Lattimore knows what he's doing out there, man. He's been a very weak link on the Saints. So I'm going to be looking for matchups more when it comes to players against Marshawn Lattimore. So Stefon Diggs might rip it up next week against the Saints. Emmanuel Sanders versus the Chiefs pass D. I think the Chiefs give up, not necessarily to the main receiver, but the slot receiver and the second receiver, they seem to give up a lot of points to. Tyler Boyd versus Tampa Bay's pass defense is going to be great. And also CJ Uzoma for the Bengals. Tampa Bay gives up the most points out of any team to tight ends. So I like him as a breakout player this week. Chris Carson against the Lions run D for Seattle. He should be back recharged this week from the bye. Charles Clay versus the Patriots. The Patriots actually give up the second most points to tight ends. So I think Charles Clay is going to be Peterman's only option worth a damn next week. And Larry Fitzgerald, he's going to be a starter again. He should be able to get it done against the 49ers. The Cardinals fired their offensive coordinator that usually fires them up for the next week, so they don't have to feel like they're to blame. So I think that Larry Fitzgerald has a great week this week. Who do you have for breakout players?
Breakout player I really like, and this is a guy you might want to look at picking up as well. Jalen Richard for the Raiders. With Lynch out, he's a pass catching specialist for the Raiders. Doug Martin is going to be filling in for Lynch, but I do like Jalen Richard going forward. He could definitely get you some carries and get you some catches as well. I look for him to have a big game against the Colts' poorish defense. Derek Carr, actually, too. I could see him having a big week against the Colts. Colts have given up in the 30s on defense every week to the past 3-4 weeks to the teams they've played. So their pass defense is just horrendous. So I like Jalen Richard. Do like the Cardinals as well and the 49ers. I can see that as a high-scoring game with both defenses not being that good. Unfortunately, not Fitzgerald, but I do like Christian Kirk. He's a rookie for the Cardinals, a rookie wide receiver. I like him. He's been having some solid games. He's been flying under the radar a little bit too. I like him as a breakout